Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
All right, everybody out there in Critical Blast land, I'm RJ Carter with CriticalBlast.com, and we are here with Dave Dyer of Cosmic Comics in Belleville, Illinois. And we are doing our first live, not live,
semi-live,
we're alive, YouTube is not live. So what we promised for a live stream at this point in time, blame YouTube. And let's start that, hashtag blame YouTube. So we're here in the store, and Cosmic Comics, Dave, has been open for how long now?
We've been open a little over 8 months now.
8 months.
Yeah.
And I know that there are a handful of other shops within driving distance from here, but what sets you apart from them now?
Well, we didn't want to be like a standard comic book store where you walk in and it's just wall-to-wall Pops figures or just boxes of comics stacked. We're more of a boutique-style shop.
Okay.
It's easily shoppable. We have a coffee lounge, which we're sitting in right now. So we have a coffee, gourmet teas, sodas, pizza, hot dogs. We got a gaming room, and then the lounge we're in actually has a 70-inch TV that we do special movie nights and stuff like that.
Which is right up there.
Yep.
If you heard a snuffling sound just now, that's because Maui was here joining with us. Say hi to the folks, Maui.
And Maui's our shop dog, so he hangs out here every day but Wednesdays and Saturdays.
He's a good boy.
He is.
Very gentle dog for a German boxer.
Yeah.
So one of the things we want to talk about is what's going on in comic shops, because we hear lots of reports. My store's doing great. My store's doing badly.
Right.
Stores are closing every other week.
Yeah. If you listen to Walt Disney, they say that the bottom is, that the comic book industry is pretty much drying up.
Exactly.
I wouldn't listen to anything Walt Disney says, but
well, he doesn't say a whole lot.
He doesn't say a whole lot anymore, but his peeps do. So, it's like anything in business. Location. The three most important things about business. We're down here on West Main Street. We are just a half a block from the water fountain in the circle on West Main. So West Main and East Main is a nice little stretch. So there's lots of traffic down here, lots of walking traffic. That definitely, lots of parades.
Yes.
Lots of outdoor events that happen out here on the street. That definitely helps us a lot. But I think, like anything, yes, I've been in the industry since the early 80s. The industry ebb and flows. Right now, I think the industry is still pretty rich with some exciting stuff going on because of the movies still. Right. But movies don't necessarily translate to sales, and that's what a lot of people go, oh, with the Avengers film, you must be selling, tons of Avengers comics. No.
Right. Not really.
Movies don't translate to sales for the comic industry.
Well, and I've also had, another shop owner in Arkansas who we've done podcasts with, Michael Tierney at Little Rock, has basically said that, people come out of the Thor movie, they want to buy a Thor comic book. Well, Thor is Jane now. And, well, let me buy Captain America. Well, he's a Nazi now.
Yeah.
And you weren't having the parallel stories.
No,
in comics and movies.
I always try to tell people the DC universe and the MCU universe, as far as the movies go, is completely separate from the comic book universe. So they do, now every once in a while, like Marvel or DC will do a special 2 or 3-parter in conjunction with the film. Do it like Spider-Man: Homecoming. They did it in a comic book format too. But there are totally different storylines going on in comics as opposed to what's happening in the movies itself, and a lot of people don't realize that. So
in the comics industry, what is selling for you right now? What's the thing that you have to buy extra of, or you're selling out of?
Still your number one, Major X is a really big seller, and it's about to end. I think next issue is the last issue on that, so it was just a 6-part issue. Major X is the new character. That was selling really well.
That's a Rob Liefeld character.
Yeah, Rob Liefeld, correct. Spawn right now is getting ready to move into issue number 300, so that's starting to pick up a lot of momentum. Okay. Let's see. Really, those are the two biggest ones that I can think of offhand. I mean, Spider-Man's got a bunch of different storylines going on, but Spider-Man, like anything, if you oversaturate a title, people just don't get involved in it. They're not interested in it. So, I think trying to think what else. is doing really well. Buffy the Vampire Slayer is doing great.
Really?
Yeah, doing great.
That's
And
awesome.
Angel just started up now too. They're both coinciding with each other, which is cool. They're overlapping. So those are really good issues that are selling well off the rack.
What's been overhyped right now? What's the thing that was, the next best thing since sliced bread and it turned out to be kind of stale?
I thought War of the Realms was going to be a bomb.
Yeah.
And it actually, so this isn't answering your question, but it's still kind of, I thought it was going to just tank, and it's actually started picking up momentum.
Good.
So we just hope that the Marvel Universe can clean up their universe. Because just like DC did back with, Crisis.
On Infinite Earths,
Yeah.
yes.
Where they cleaned up everything, and then when they did the New 52, and they're at a point where they need to start tightening things up again as well. Marvel needs to do the same thing, and they did it with the Infinity War, and now they need to clean things up again. So maybe War of the Realms will do. One of the issues that I thought was going to take off, and really, not necessarily take off, but it was a good storyline, was the Justice League, and it was and you're gonna have to help me on here because I totally forget it. The Wicked, where it had the evil Wonder Woman in it. Witching Hour.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, I thought that was really gonna take off, and it didn't.
Didn't take off?
It didn't take off
I
at all.
tried to get into that one, and I got like the first issue. I haven't been grabbed by Justice League since the New 52 and the Jeff Johns storylines that were going on.
Yeah.
Scott Snyder's a good writer, but I think his scope is way too cosmic.
Yeah.
On Justice League and some of his other books.
And it's funny you say that because I thought for sure things like Shazam, which is written by Johns.
Yeah.
That I thought would really take off because of the movie.
Sure.
And I thought it would breathe some new life into Shazam, and it hasn't.
Just stayed flat.
Yeah, just it's selling okay, but not the numbers I thought they would.
There's been a lot of, and this is just my own reading opinion, because I grew up on DC. I was reading DC comics before kindergarten.
Yeah.
It taught me how to read off of them.
Yeah.
And then I start seeing things like Heroes in Crisis.
Another one that didn't take
That's
off.
the first DC Crisis event since COIE that I bailed on halfway through.
Yeah.
I just couldn't.
A lot of people
get through
did.
it.
A lot of people did. And the series it's wrapping up now.
Yeah. And I found out how it ends, and I'm still like, no, you didn't redeem it at all. Wally West is in jail.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be the hope of the rebirth.
Right.
But Doomsday Clock, I'm finding a lot of interest in.
Doomsday Clock, which is also, I think we just hit issue 10, and it ends at 12, so we have 2 more issues on that, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
That's really good, though. Doomsday Clock is
very
great.
good.
I highly recommend that one to everybody out there. If you haven't touched it, pick it up, read it, and get it here with us.
Absolutely, come here and get it. We got some on
come
the
here and
shelves.
get
I've seen
it. You know, and if you're far away and you still want it, you can always give us a call and we'll ship it to you. So.
Now, you talked about being in a location where you have outside events. You just had an outside event a few weeks back.
Yeah, on Mother's Day we had Butch Patrick here, who was played Eddie Munster in the original Munsters.
Absolutely.
So he was here signing, meeting his fans and signing an autograph, and then they pulled up the once the Lord lifted the rain and gave it to gave us a clear day, which was really tough that weekend because we've been having so many storms out here. They brought the Munster coach out front, which pulled it up right on the sidewalk. It was very cool. So
Butch has done very well for himself in getting the rights to all of that Munsters.
Yeah, he owns pretty much all of it. I mean, he and Pat Priest are the only 2 left alive, and Pat has recently just retired and is no longer going to be doing any appearances. God bless her. We had her at our convention many years ago, and she's a wonderful lady, but getting up there.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that one because I wanted to. I've talked with Butch a couple years ago at Wizard World, and I wanted to ask him how much money he was making off that Fallout Boy song.
Yeah.
Because first time I heard that, I'm like, hey,
yeah,
I know that tune.
Yeah, he'll never tell you either. So
well, as long as he is making money off of it, that's
he's doing good. He just recently had a house. Belonged to his grandmother, and I believe it belonged to his grandmother. It lived in Macon, Missouri, and the house is a beautiful old Victorian-style house, but it was haunted.
Really?
Yeah, very haunted. They had
well, it should be. It's a Munsters house.
Yeah. They had Michael Lynch go out there and do
I know him.
Yeah, Dr. Lynch, good friend of mine. He went out there and they did the whole session up there. And yeah, it's verified haunted now. And but his wife, didn't want to live there, and so they sold it. And now they live in Florida, and he's going to be doing some things out there in Florida. So so if you've never been able to get to see the Munster Coach or the Dragula, definitely try while he's still doing some shows. I know he's at the tail end of his doing shows as well.
Right.
So yeah, but
now you don't sell just comic books here. Obviously, it would be very difficult for any comic book store to get by on just selling comics.
Yeah, that to me would be like just selling games.
Yeah.
You
do have the back issues. They're over there.
Yep.
I see those when you first walk in.
Yep.
I'm attracted to long white boxes like iron filings to a magnet. But you've also got some toys. You brought some over here that you said just recently
we wanted to talk about some of the new things that are kind of hot right now. And we've got the rebirth of Mego action figures. So, and this is actually run by the son, or the Marty Abrams is his name. He took over Mego back in the 70s. So, and then they, unfortunately, with the popularity of Star Wars figures, Mego went bankrupt by 1983. I think they were done. So now they've rebirthed with the help of Hasbro. So Hasbro is behind them now, and actually Hasbro bought the rights to the Micronauts from Marty, because Marty owned it.
Okay.
And they bought the rights to the Micronauts, and with that money, Marty was able to rebirth the new Mego line.
Now, I did not get into the Microbots as a toy, but boy, I
Micronauts,
read those Marvel comics.
Yeah, they were great. And actually, it was a Japanese toy. It was a Japanese company that had started it, and excuse me, I forgot the name of them. They started it, and then Marty thought it was a grand idea, and this was before Transformers, of course.
Yeah.
So he kind of got in there right with it, and it was a successful toy line. But like I said, Star Wars ended up killing the industry, and Transformers then popped up after that.
Now,
So.
how did Star Wars kill Mego? I mean, weren't they making figures of Mego, or?
No.
Do that one?
Kenner owned Star Wars, the rights to Star Wars. It just took over the world. So every toy line pretty much that followed in the wake of the Star Wars Kenner line just ended up.
They weren't getting any money because everybody wanted Star Wars.
Everybody wanted Star Wars.
Okay.
So that killed what was left of Mego. And Mego at that point in the 80s wasn't doing the little 8-inchers anymore.
They came in a box because I had. Gosh, this was like early 70s. I got an Aquaman Mego for Christmas one year.
Yeah.
Love that thing.
Well, like here's the new 14-inch Joker, and this is of course a 14-inch box, but it's based on the old Mego box.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see Mego is back, because that's my childhood. I remember for Christmas, and man, I guess it was 77, Christmas of 1977. I woke up on Christmas morning, came downstairs, and my parents had gotten me the whole Planet of the Apes.
Oh, you had the best parents.
I did. God rest their soul.
Now tell me you still have them.
No. Like an idiot kid, I blew everything up with firecrackers.
Of course, because it was a war story.
Yeah.
You had to do that.
I had my Planet of the Apes line, I had the superhero line, then I had G.I. Joes. But once I discovered Black Cat fireworks, forget it. My world was, I blew up Aurora model kits with it.
Tell them what I got for Christmas, the Star Wars.
Yeah. Okay, so my wife, who, okay, all you guys out there in comic and geek and game land, I actually married somebody normal, so it can be done.
I did too.
She wears pink, and not ironically, with no skulls.
Mine wears butterflies with no skulls.
Yeah. Does yours cook?
Yeah.
They cook.
Yeah.
So you can have this. But for her Christmas one year, she wanted a Star Wars Barbie. So what she got was the full line of the Star Wars Barbies, including the Millennium Falcon that was like this huge.
Yeah.
And it sat in a shed
in Southern Arkansas.
And yeah.
So
right now
bubbled up and everything.
Somewhere out there watching, there's going to be some guy who's got Planet of the Apes figures and Star Wars Barbies and a Millennium Falcon who's going to say, "Thank you, mine's worth just that much more now."
Yes, it is.
So
yeah.
So what's coming on the horizon that? First of all, let's talk about what's coming on the horizon in comics that you think people should be interested in. That's not out yet, but is coming out.
Like I said,
You
the
think is really good.
Spawn 300, which is just right around the horizon, that is going to be pretty hot because they're doing a series of collector covers for it, very much like what they did with Detective Comics 1000.
Okay.
Where you had various different covers. They're going to do that with.
Now, do
with,
those sell well for you though?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, I think I think maybe 3 or 4 of the Detective 1000s, and I had 35 of them here.
That's not bad.
Yeah, the different covers.
It's a good.
So
good pay through.
yeah, that one you're going to have to watch. Amber Blake is a really good title right now that people should be watching for.
Amber Blake.
Amber
Okay,
Blake.
Who publishes her?
It's IDW.
Okay.
Puts out Amber Blake.
So if they're in business, by the time it's supposed to come out, that'll be a good book.
Well, it's already, actually, we're getting ready to go on to issue 3. So
Okay.
Everybody should try to grab. It's done in magazine format.
Really?
Comic book in magazine format. Yeah. So it makes it unique.
Like the old Hulks and Howard the Ducks? Or?
Not as big as that, but somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
That's
an
another
inch
series I used
smaller.
to
I
love,
know.
was that
Oh,
old
Rampage
adult
and Hulk?
stuff.
Come
Yes.
on. Love that.
Black and white Hulk, and you could
and
do so much more adult.
the original Star-Lord
Yes.
was a black and white Marvel, one of the large Marvel magazines. That was my Star-Lord, not what I'm seeing in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the
you know?
comedy.
Yeah. He was a badass, you know. So, yeah, I remember going fishing with my dad at Montauk Lodge in Montauk State Park, and they would always have a magazine rack, and they would have Rampage and Hulk, Star-Lord, Kiss, you know.
Yeah,
the
all
Kiss,
that stuff.
the Kiss magazine, all of that. Yeah. So they would have that.
And of course, then you had Vampirella and Eerie and Creepy.
Yep.
Those-
Yeah. And I carry some of that stuff, you know. So when I get collections in, yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome stuff. Now, what's happening in the store coming up here soon?
Later this summer, so we're probably going to be talking like August or September. We're going to be bringing in Glenn Ennis. He played Colossus in the Deadpool film.
Yes.
1 and 2, the big silver dude. And he also was the bear that attacks Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant.
Was not a real bear.
Was not a real bear, all CGI. And then he was also did the stunt work for Jason versus Freddy. He was Jason Voorhees.
Okay.
Doing the stunt work for that. And then I believe he was the Ultimate Predator in the new Predator film. So he'll be
Don't
here.
wanna mess with this guy.
Yeah, he's big, tall dude. So he'll be here late summer, early fall. We're still working out the details on that.
All right. We'll definitely try to be here for that.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
carry Some of that
That'd be
to
a
you
great
guys.
idea. Yeah, doing a live interview with him.
Absolutely.
So,
We'd love to do that.
Yeah, he'd be very cool.
Make
with
it
that.
happen.
Yeah,
You.
you.
Yeah, me.
Us.
I'm looking at a monitor. I'm pointing at him.
So, and then we always do movie showings here. So the next one I think that we're going to be doing is going to be the 1989 Batman,
Oh.
because it's the 30th anniversary
You wanna get
in
nuts?
June. Come on,
Let's get nuts.
let's get nuts. So yeah, I can't
30
believe
years?
30 years. 30 years
Was
in
I
June.
alive then?
It is June right now, so it's 30 years this month.
You were like,
Wow. Yeah.
I had the movie poster that had no words on it, just the symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And then the movie poster that said May of 1989. It had them mounted on foam.
Okay.
And they got damaged because they were mounted on foam and they weren't framed. But I remember one of the things that happened during that year was I went to Chicago Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And I sat in a panel with Todd McFarlane. And I came out of there thinking that Todd McFarlane was such a butthole.
He is.
Because he said...
You hear that, Todd?
Yeah, sorry, Todd.
Good luck with Spawn, the movie. Which will actually probably be really
Which
good.
actually happened. He had to spawn the movie, and at the time there was no such thing. And he said, "What I want to have happen is, be like this Batman poster. And, people saw the poster, and it's like, it's Batman. You're going to go by, and you're just going to see the big white eyes with the green flecks in them, and say, oh, Spawn." He thought it'd be that universal.
Yeah, no.
And by golly, he was right, though. I mean, people do know who Spawn is
Well,
now.
people
so-
do now, and so I think the new Spawn film that he's directing and very heavily involved in is going to be, I think it's going to do really well. Really well, because I can't believe after all these years that it's still such a popular comic book.
Well,
So-
everybody in Belleville, Illinois, and surrounding area, come see Batman. There's space here, and I'm sure they
Oh,
can
yeah.
move some tables
Yeah.
out here if we gotta get
We
more.
got extra tables, chairs, all of that.
They'd love to have standing room only.
And yeah, and you know, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at Cosmic Comics Belleville.
Cosmic Comics,
Very
Belleville.
simple, and that's where I post everything that's related to the shop. Every Wednesday, I post all the new stuff that comes out, whether it's comic book, magazines, books, toys,
You'll
games.
see a lot of that retweeted on @CriticalBlast.
Yes, which we do. Thank you.
And also Facebook/Critical Blast. So look us up. If you can't find him directly, find us. We follow, so you'll be able to find him in our list.
Yeah, and then one last thing, the thing everybody should start looking out for toy-wise is, of course, Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yes.
A lot of that will be released in July and August and September. One of our specialties is we carry lots of Godzilla stuff.
Now I've seen a Godzilla toy just recently of King Caesar.
I love King Caesar.
Now is this? So he was a real monster.
Yes.
I look at that toy and I'm like, this creature just stepped out of a Maurice Sendak book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did he look like that in the movie?
Yeah. Well, he's not in the new movie.
Right,
but yeah. Well, he's a floppy-eared. It's basically, if you remember the statues of the dogs, that's where he's from. So it's just a Japanese dog god, so
Okay.
to speak.
He just
He's
looks
really
like a
cool.
wild thing.
Yeah, he does. You're absolutely right. I love that book. I
Oh,
grew
he
up on
did.
that book. Love the movie. Absolutely. In fact, I have one of the toys from Where the Wild Things Are here.
I saw
Yeah,
it back
great
there.
sculpture.
There
So,
are toys here from just about everything you could think of.
old and new.
Happy Days board games. I'm looking over there at an Incredible Hulk lunchbox
Yeah, from the 80s with
yeah.
thermos. With
thermos. You know that thing that always cracked and you didn't have.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had the Marvel superheroes one right around the time Secret Wars was out.
yeah. I'm trying to look over there. I also have a Shazam, large Shazam figure that's actually signed by Jackson Boswick, who was Shazam on the Shazam ISIS Power Hour.
I remember that.
During the 70s.
Boy,
Dating myself.
of all the TV superheroes that have been in comics, ISIS I think has really gotten the short end of the stick with.
Yeah.
We can't really talk about her.
I don't. Yeah, she had a short-lived 4-part series comic.
And Joanne Cameron just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know why she doesn't do shows or anything.
I heard she runs a hotel somewhere. But
It doesn't surprise me. A lot of them do. So a lot of them, get tired of the industry or don't think that they're popular enough to do the shows that people would, come out and see them. I remember when we had Jackson Boswick, I was surprised that hardly anybody came to see him.
well, maybe Joanne's got it figured out right then.
And maybe she does, But it was great because we had Jackson Boswick and then we had John Wesley Shipp there as well before his appearance on the Flash.
The new Flash.
Yeah.
He had already done the 1990s Flash.
Yeah, he had done the 1990s one, and he had started doing the new Teen Wolf show that was on MTV.
Right.
So that's where he was starting to get his popularity back, and he hadn't started doing the new Flash yet. So it was really great because we had him, we had Jackson together in a seminar about TV superheroes and stuff, and the
That would be
stories
very cool.
those two told were amazing. So
Well, that's very cool. Superhero TV shows are hot right now. I mean, the CW is
Yeah.
making a living off of it.
Yeah.
Marvel thinks they can do it off Netflix, and I think they found out they couldn't.
Yeah, you're right. It'll be, well, what happened there was DC bought, or not DC, Disney bought, of course, the Marvel rights. So when Netflix was running the show, Disney pretty much said, okay, you guys got to tie that up because we are going to redo these shows for our streaming line.
So do you think they're going to reboot them all?
They're going to reboot.
That is-
Probably not going to reboot Punisher because it's still too violent for Disney.
Yeah.
But they'll reboot Daredevil most likely.
Be a little bit more costumey.
A little bit more costumey, not so violent. And I doubt we'll see Jessica Jones.
Oh, you couldn't do Jessica
yeah.
Jones.
I think they're going to try to redo Iron Fist because I think they also want to do Masters of Kung Fu.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, which would be cool.
That would be very cool.
So I think Disney, with the new streaming line, they want to have a lot of really cool superhero shows.
Yeah.
So-
superhero shows that kids
yeah.
could sit down and say, hey, that's a superhero.
With their parents and sit down and watch it,
Sure.
right? And not so uber.
a little bit more Avengers-ish and a lot less Marvel Knights-ish.
Yeah, exactly. exactly.
Now, are you going to have a showing here for the debut of Batwoman when that comes out?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
I don't know what DC's trying to do. I'm trying to figure out. We talk about it a lot here. We geek out a lot, and people are like, what do you think about what the DC movie universe is doing, the DCU? And I'm like, I think I'm one of the ones who I liked Batman versus Superman, and I liked Justice League a lot.
I didn't like Lex Luthor in it. That's all I hated.
Yeah, he was over. I'm not as harsh on him as you guys are. Because when you watch the longer version of Batman, I forget what version they called it, but
they did have a directed.
Yeah,
director's cut.
it's got a lot more stuff. Yeah, it's got more stuff in there, so you get a sense of what Lex is more about. Okay. But yeah, is he over the top? He's over the top. But they nailed it with Aquaman. They nailed it with Shazam. Wonder Woman, and then the new Wonder Woman's going to be out. But then they turn around, they go, we don't want to get dark, and then they turn around and they got Joker coming out.
Yeah, which doesn't even look like it fits into the universe.
I don't know. Yeah,
and the Joker in Suicide Squad. Well, first of all, Joker has to be dark.
But this was
like.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. In fact, when I went and saw,
it's not enjoyably dark.
No, when I saw Godzilla, they had the new trailer for it, and I shake my head on it because I don't know what they're attempting to do.
Yeah, and it's not even a joke. The only Joker origin they've done right has been Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Fall into the acid, dye your skin white, go nuts.
Yeah, which was cool, and even the Heath Ledger one, he had a deformity.
Yeah,
so
he'd been cut. We never know why.
Never know why.
But he's putting white makeup on. And
all he is
he's a clown.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what. I always say that Warner Brothers is just too many old crew on. There's just too many silver-haired gentlemen who aren't listening to the fan base.
I was on a panel at Archon in Collinsville several years ago, and we talked about the difference between the Marvel and the DC movies. And my take on it was that the old people at DC are like, well, we've got Superman, but we've got to make this much more realistic. We want to make that costume darker. We want to make it armored so he can take a hit. And I'm like, he's Superman. We've got to make it a little bit more gritty, and we've got to make it so that he relates to being an alien. And over at Marvel, we got a raccoon with a machine gun.
Yeah.
Go.
Who wisecracks everything, So
no explanation for him why he's there. He's just there. Let's go and take off running.
Yeah, just do it. I mean, because DC's got some great characters, not as big as what Marvel's got. Marvel in the pantheon of their characters have a lot more to work with.
Yes, they do.
But DC, you've got your core. You got your Superman, your Batman, your Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, the Flash, and Aquaman, and then it starts to spread itself out a little bit. I think they're going to do a Green Lantern film tying in because I hope so.
I got emails. I was supposed to set up an interview with an actress, and I'm sorry I don't have her name in front of me because she had a bit part in both Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, and she was never really named. But she was the general's assistant in Batman vs. Superman. And in the press release, her character is given a name, and it's Carrie Ferris.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, there's your Green Lantern connection right there. That is Carol Ferris.
Yeah.
So she's going to have some bigger
things.
It would
be. I would like to see that done, because I like I said, this all started with you talking about Batwoman, and I think that's going to fall. Okay, she doesn't have a comic book right now.
She does. She doesn't.
She doesn't. No. We got Batgirl still, but not Batwoman. The whole. I just think it's going to be a character that no one knows enough about.
Yeah.
She's
very bitter.
Yeah.
And the thing that they could have changed one line, and I think it would have been a lot more character developing and a lot more revealing when she sees the bat suit.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Luke Fox is like saying, she's like, it needs some alterations. She's like, it's literally perfection.
Right.
And she says, it will be when it fits a woman. And now if she'd have said, it will be when it fits me, I'm like, oh, she's egocentric. She thinks she can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to go headstrong into things. But no, it was more like,
Isn't Batwoman going to be on the DC streaming service?
No, she's going to be on the CW.
Oh, they are going to do CW. Okay.
Yeah, she's going to be a mid-season replacement because Arrow is short.
Yeah, because that's it for Arrow.
And apparently, from what we saw, the season finale of Arrow, and if you haven't seen it, tune out for a couple of seconds or fast forward. The Monitor showed back up at the finale.
Okay.
And takes Arrow with him, takes Green Arrow with him, and Felicity hasn't seen him forever in that little 5-year
Right.
forward that they've done.
Right.
And the deal was that he comes back for her when it's time.
Okay.
So he's come back for her. They're basically going to be the Earth 2 Clark and Lois.
Okay.
The ones who exist outside of everything now. Because you remember the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Superman of Earth 2 and Lois Lane were taken to that little bubble universe
Right.
that he kept
Right.
with Superboy Prime. And of course, when the Flash ended its season, time rolled back so that the Crisis happens 5 years earlier than.
Well,
what
you're
the newspaper
ruining this
said.
whole thing for me because I haven't
sorry.
finished it.
I'm sorry. You're in the comic industry. You're
I
supposed to
know.
be on the
Yeah,
leading edge of this.
people sit there and go, it took me a month to see Avengers because where do I find 3 hours in my already difficult schedule I have?
Well, you already knew the advertisements were for Crisis.
Oh, yeah.
Next,
Yeah.
next
I know.
year, so.
Yeah.
So
I
they
totally
just
do.
solidified that by rolling the calendar back. Now, whether Barry survives, I don't know. But one of the things I will say about the CW shows that has been a big improvement has been Supergirl. Supergirl was unwatchable for me for a lot of it, just because it was very preachy. I don't care if you have an issue, but it was like all the time.
All the time.
And as
I
soon as they
agree.
brought John Cryer in for Lex Luthor and they started telling stories.
And once again, thanks for ruining that for me. But yes. Yeah.
Oh, you knew he was in.
I did. No, I'm looking forward to that season. I just wrapped up Supergirl the season before John Cryer comes in, so I'm looking forward to finally jumping into that
Get
one.
in there, go through a half hour, go through a half a season of cringe, and then
Yeah.
finally
Good
stuff.
Because season 1 I liked, season 2, because what season are we on with Supergirl? 4?
4
Now?
Season 4 this season.
Just started?
Yeah.
Yeah. So season 2, it's very difficult.
It was very hard.
Yeah.
Season
So
3
I'm glad
was
they.
not much better.
Okay.
I
Damn.
hope they stick with this new plan.
I hope so too, because when you become heavy-handed and preachy, it doesn't work. We can get plenty of that on any other show you turn on TV. When I watch a superhero show, I want my superheroes.
Exactly.
I want Supergirl kicking butt. I want the Flash. I really love what Flash is doing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Flash, my favorite of all the CW shows is Flash.
Yeah, I agree. So,
I could
yeah.
do Flash talk for a long time, but this guy out there's already got that hashtag Flash Chat.
Good.
Let him take that over. Anyway, Dave, thank you so
Hey,
much.
my pleasure.
We're going to do this regularly and maybe
That'd be
even
cool.
sometimes live.
That'll be cool.
YouTube's probably back up by now. I'm gonna tell you what I'm going to do that I've already done in the future when you see this thing. I'm going to edit it and we'll put our little intro on it, and then we'll maybe even run some credits right about now.